You may have had a very successful interview process with a company. You might have gone for several interviews, and we're getting close to the final stages where you're starting to sense you may be made some form of an employment offer. This is a very interesting, exciting part of the process, but it's not for the faint-hearted. You have to have a little bit of a strategy as to how you're going to get the offer over the line. Often what happens is the company is assessing one or two candidates at this stage. They're tossing and turning between one or two. So every little aspect of the recruitment process becomes incredibly important so that you're really showcasing your experience and your value proposition. You're coming across as a very enthusiastic candidate. At the end of the day, we will often hire the candidate who is more passionate, more interested in the company. So it's very important that you can relay that sense of genuine interest and be asking for the job and be very much on the front foot. And often you'll get to the end of a recruitment process, end of an interview, and there may be, do you have any questions for us? And for me personally, this is where I would really hone in on trying to get some feedback. You will find they've probably done a bit of a soft close on you up until this point. I'd start to do a bit of a soft close on the company. And so I would say something like, look, I've really enjoyed our conversations. I've really learned a lot about the company. I think I've got a really good understanding of what it would be like to work here. I believe I can add a lot of value. But from your perspective, is there anything left outstanding from our discussions? Is there anything from my candidacy that you have a concern about? Is there any reason why I wouldn't be the final candidate in the process being made the final job offer? And so it's an absolute, in your face kind of statement. And what you're doing is you're asking the company to give you feedback there and then in the recruitment process at that final stage. And you're basically asking, are you going to make me an offer? Now, it's a perfect opportunity because companies usually are pretty straightforward in their dealings, and they will often say something like, look, Kylie, we think you're fantastic. I've got no doubt you can do the job. We just have a little bit of hesitancy because you've never done this before. You've never run a team of this size. You've never handled this type of budget level before. And these are just a few of the concerns that we have about your candidacy. Perfect, because what has happened here is the client or the employer has actually disclosed an objection. There is an objection in the room. There is a reason why you might not get this job offer. And so when you hear an objection, you don't go into defense mode. You listen very carefully to what the employer is saying, and you'll say something like, look, that's a really valid point, and you're quite right. I haven't officially kind of done X, Y, and Z before, but several times in the past 18 months, I have acted in the X position, and that did give me exposure to a bigger team. I have taken on additional responsibility, and I have made a huge investment in my leadership style, and I believe I'm at the right level now to be able to operate in that position, and I believe I could perform very successfully. Now, you're putting a counter argument on the table. Now, the counter argument is not really the point here. Firstly, you're defending, I guess, your credentials, but you're putting some maybe additional information on the table, and you're giving the employer an opportunity to think twice about their objection. And if you can frame that in the right way, it can be incredibly successful, and it can just pull up that objection that they might have, a minor concern, or it could be a major concern about your candidacy, and it gives you the opportunity to address it. So try that technique next time you're in the final stages of the interview and you really want to get the job. Push a little bit for some feedback in the final stages. It can be extremely helpful to helping you get that opportunity to just close the deal, if you like.